Welcome back, Embers, or if you're new here, welcome to Campfire Crew. My name is Stone. My pronouns are they, them. And today, if you can't tell that by the title of today's video, we are doing my update for my project 10 uses. Let's get a couple things out of the way. First of all, if you see me looking down, it's at my sticker covered notebook. Second of all, if I seem tired and unenthusiastic, it is not because I don't love this project and I'm not excited to film this. It's because I am tired. I went to the doctor yesterday, took my cat to the vet today. I'm having a hard time focusing, breathing, but I really want to get this project out. It's not in a bad way, I just need a nap, but I really do want to get this project out. So we're doing it, and then I'm doing laundry, and then I'm going to sleep. That's the plan. Second of all, my makeup's very cute. I need you guys to see it's pumpkin inspired. I will accept all the compliments. Thank you very much. First, let's talk about eyeliners. So I have a total of 3 eyeliners in my collection, all 3 of which are still in this project. Of those 3 eyeliners, I used 2 for this project this month. Let's talk about Electric Slide first, which I used 1 time in the month of September for a total of 7 uses, meaning I have 3 more uses left. I think in October I can get that done. And I definitely want to get that done this month because I don't think I will use this if I don't use it in October. Then, very exciting, we have Cosmic Yellow, which I also only used 1 time. However, if you saw my last update, you'll know that I had 9 uses, which means we have finally hit the 10 uses on my first eyeliner this year. This is exactly at 10 uses, and so this eyeliner is now rolled out of my collection, so we only have 2 eyeliners left to work on. Next, let's talk about highlighters. So there it is. So I also have 3 highlighters, one of which has already been rolled out of this project, and of the 2 left in this project, I used both of them this month. The least exciting one is the Nomad highlighter in Balmoral Beach, which I only used once. It looks like this, but on the face it is a very icy highlighter, and so now that it's starting to get cooler, at least in parts of the day, I have started using this again, and I think once we get to November, December, I will use this a lot. I used it, like I said, a total of 1 time for a total of 5 uses, so I have 5 uses left. Again, I think mostly November, December, I will get those uses. And then we also have the exciting update for highlighters, which is Lumiere. Lumiere I used 2 times this month for a total of exactly 10 uses. This is a really pretty highlighter. I like it a lot. I've been using it a lot in the summer, along with Privilege. I think both of those highlighters are really, really pretty. And yeah, we're now at 10 uses. So this is rolling out, meaning we only have 1 highlighter left in this project. And next, let's talk about blushes. I have a total of 5 blushes in my collection. However, 2 of those blushes are already rolled out of this project before this update. And that means I have 3 blushes left in this project. Of those 3 blushes, I used also 2 blushes in the month of September. These are the 2 blushes I used. So first, let's talk about Dawn. Dawn I used 2 times for a total of 9 uses. So I only need 1 more use of this, and because it's orange, October is the perfect time to use it. There is no way I'm not going to use this. If I don't, it's because I haven't worn any makeup at all, because should be worn a lot in October. So there's that, which is very close to being rolled out, which is excellent. Then we have the problem child of this project, Deep Breath there. This is one of my Menagerie blushes. One of these was rolled out very early in the year, one of my first products rolled out. However, this one last month only had a total of 3 uses, and it is a blush that I only use in the summer. It's a bright pink with kind of a gold reflect in it, and I have been mad at this blush for a long time because I thought it was going to be orange leaning. I'm sure you've heard this ramble before, but I knew I needed to use it a lot in September because the weather, once it gets bad, I'm not going to want to use this blush. So I want to use it when I at least I'm going to enjoy it a little bit and have a chance to like this blush. So this blush I used a total of 5 times in September, making for a total of 8 uses. So I have 2 uses left, and I think there will be enough warm days in October that I can finish using this blush. I always think of autumn as very cold, but that's not really true. Every year I forget that it's cold in the morning, it's hot in the afternoon. Some days are hot, some days are cold. It's kind of a mix of weather. So on the warm days, I will be wearing this 2 more times. I've really learned to like this blush. I think the undertone's really pretty. It's a very bright pink. The glitter isn't glittery so much as it is like a soft reflection. It just looks like highlighter. It really only shows up for me on the top of my cheekbones. The rest of it doesn't really look glittery. Like, it just catches the light really well, and so the places under my cheekbones don't really look all that shimmery. So I actually really like this now. I have finally gotten over my beef with this blush. So next summer, I should be able to wear this a lot more and enjoy it, which I'm very, very happy about. 2 uses left. I think I will also roll this out next month because, again, it's not going to be warm after October. Once we hit November, this blush isn't going to get used anymore, so I need to prioritize it 2 more times on whatever 2 warm days are left in October. So that's it for blushes. Then the elephant in the room, which is last month I talked about how I may or may not have gotten some new lip products, some new products. So before we talk about that, before September, I had a total of 4 lip products, of which 3 were rolled out, and the last lip product I had left, I did not use a single time. It is something I plan on using in November. It has 5 uses so far. I think November, December, I'm going to get those last 5. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. If honestly, I might get all 5 of them in November because I love that color, particularly in that month. I've talked about it all year. However, now I don't have just 1 lip product left in this project because I bought 2 new lip products, and at the beginning of the year I said that whatever I buy this year during this project I have to use 10 times. They're also going to be in this project. So I got another Maybelline lip product, this time in this like lip crayon. It's a very bright pink, which I don't have like a summery pink in my collection. I don't really have anything that's like very pink, especially a summery pink. I feel like one lip liner is kind of pink-ish, but it's really, really doesn't suit me when I'm tan at all. It's very much a winter color. This definitely feels a lot brighter, so I definitely feel like summer's the time to use this, which maybe I shouldn't have bought this in September after summer's over, but that is what I tend to do, is I go a season and then I think, what would I have liked to have during that season? Like, what did I feel like I was missing? Which I think is a good way to purchase products, is to think about, like, go through the season and then think about what was I missing and then buy it after that. But for this, it's not that great. However, in the month of September, when I first bought it, I used it a total of 3 times, so this has a total of 3 uses with me. And I think that it's a color I can still wear in the winter. I think it might look a little brighter in the winter, which is fine with me. I love doing pinks all year long. So I'm just going to do some pinks and get this rolled out. But yeah, I have a lot of uses left on this because I just got it. The second lip product I bought is a lip liner, my first lip liner. It's in this very chocolatey, rich brown, which is not my favorite color generally, but it's so pretty. In a recent update, I think my last update to this project, I was wearing it with this lip, but as a lip liner all the way on my top lip and a little on my bottom, and it's so pretty together. It's perfect for fall. I didn't do it today because I didn't have time, and also it's more orangey this way. But it's something I really like for fall. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use on in October. However, in September, I only used it 2 times for a total of 2 uses. Yeah, we also have a lot of work to go with this, but I think in fall and also winter, this is going to be a really good product to use. So I'm not super worried about it. I'm really excited to try this out with all of my other lip products and see how they all work together. So far, those 2 uses were just with this lip product, which is so pretty, but I think it could look good with pretty much every lip product I own. It can give something different, so I do want to play around with it. I also, other than lip products, I have one more thing I bought, which is the Maybelline Express Brow in, what is your shade? Deep brown. It's really hard to concentrate on such small writing. My brain hurts doing that. I don't know if I love it. I think I'm not wearing it today. I didn't have time. I'm not sure if I love it. I think in the future I would probably get a separate brow product, like a different, what's the word? I want to call it a brow mascara. I don't think that's what I mean, but a different product to hold my brows and then a separate product to color my brows. I thought this would be easier because it has the color and the gel together, but it actually just kind of comes out too much, and when I'm trying to shape my brows, I'm putting on too much product, and I just feel like I don't have as much control with this. I always feel like I'm using too much. Maybe I will get the hang of this as I use it, but for now I'm kind of like iffy about it. But it was only $9 Canadian, so I can't be too mad. And now let's finally get into the numbers. In September, when I first bought this, I have already used it 7 times for a total of 7 uses. So I only need to use it 3 more times. I've been using it pretty much every time I do my makeup. With the way my glasses sit, I feel like you can't really see my brows. They're not that noticeable. Like, you can see them, but they're just not that noticeable. I've wanted this for a while, so even though I have issues with it a bit, I still wear it a lot. The first couple times I felt ridiculous, but now I'm kind of getting used to myself with more noticeable brows, so that's good. I do like it. I just think maybe I would do things a little differently next time, but it's so small. I don't think it'll take forever to use up. A year at most, I would hope. We'll see where we are next year. But yeah, I think it's a good enough product to use up, and I'm happy to have it tracked. One day we'll talk about tracking stuff, probably closer to the end of the year. So yeah, lots of new stuff there, literally. Okay, last but not least, palettes. So in total, I have, I believe, 7 or 8 palettes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes. In total, I have 8 palettes. 7, 6, yeah. I have a total of 8 palettes, 6 of which have already been rolled out. So there's only 2 palettes left in this project. And of those 2 palettes, I used both of them in September. First, let's talk about the palette that I had recluttered in August. So I've only had 2 months to work on this, and as of last month, this was in my collection at the beginning of the year. I decluttered it and then I recluttered it. So I missed a total of 3 months with this palette where I wasn't using it because it got decluttered. I rolled it back in for this silver, which I did. We talked about this last month, so watch that video if you haven't. But this got recluttered last month. And as of last month, this had a total of 4 uses this year. I used it in September 2 more times for a total of 6 uses. So we need 4 more uses. I think that's doable. I also think this, because of the silver, which is the main reason I kept this palette, this is definitely something I'm going to be wanting to use November, December, especially December. as the end of the year comes around. But generally when it gets cold, I'm going to want to do dark, smoky looks, and I think this silver is going to go great with a lot of those. So I'm not super worried about this, but I definitely do have to focus on it, especially because there's only a couple of shades I'm actually going to use in this. It's only a quad to begin with, and I'm probably never going to use this gold glitter. If I wanted a gold, I have a better one. And then usually these two colors aren't really my thing, but I can use them if I want to. But the silver is really the star of the show and the reason I have this. And so since there's so few eyeshadows in this, I definitely want to focus on it and use it obviously a couple of times per month. I don't think it'll be too hard, but it's definitely something I need to focus on. But I am happy I got 2 uses in September. And last thing in this project, in this update, is my big cheese palette. So as of last month, I had a total of 8 uses, so I needed 2 more uses. And in September, I used it 3 times. So I've hit 11 uses on this palette. This is what it looks like. In September, I actually took out the shade Blue Cheese, which is a green because it looked too similar to another shade in my collection in the Indigo Ink palette, which I finished up pretty early in the year. And I think that shade's better performing. I don't love the performance of a lot of these shades, but I really like the colors. I like Mozzarella as a blush. I like this yellow quite a lot, and I think this pink is nice because I generally like pinks. But you can see a lot of the colors have been taken out. I have 2 more in another palette actually, but a lot of these I've decluttered because I just didn't think the quality was good. So it is quite a small palette, which means I'm using it less. The bigger the palette, the more I kind of reach into it to finish looks, things like that. But over the summer, I managed to finish my 10 uses, which is exciting because I definitely don't want a summery palette like this in my collection. I think I have enough summery things that I'm gonna still need to use this month in October. So I'm glad to have this out now that summer is definitely over. Yeah, I am very happy with it. So that means we have 1 more eyeshadow palette. Eyeshadow palettes have been rolled out very easily in this project, more so than my other things, which is good. Probably because my other things have 1 product in them, whereas eyeshadow has so many different products in it that you can use it, you know, for multiple eye looks. Like you can grab into it for 1 shade, whereas like a highlighter is just 1 thing, if that makes sense. I'm gonna stop rambling. I said stay tuned to the end of this video. There's 1 more thing I want to talk about, which is at the beginning of this year, was talking about how many times I needed to use everything every month in order to be on track. And the last couple of months I wasn't doing that because I had lost my notebook. I couldn't figure out where it was. I finally found it, and I have rejigged the numbers to see how much I'm going to need to use everything in October, November, December, so the last 3 months of the year, in order to finish this project. So we're going to talk about that. So in the beginning of the year, highlighters and eyeliners, I needed to use 2.5 times. So 2 or 3 times every month. Now, highlighters, I need to use 1 or 2, mostly 2 times in a month. So that number has gone down a little bit. And then for eyeliners, it has stayed the same at 1.5. It's a little over 1.5. I need to use it 2 or 3 times, a little more on the 3 times for the last 3 months of the year. But those are both going pretty steady. I'm pretty consistent in my usage of it up to this point. Blushes, at the beginning of the year, I needed to use them mostly 4, but occasionally 5 times a month to get my 10 uses on all of them. But now we're at, I need to use them 2 or 3 times a month for the last 3 months of the year. So we've used blushes more than I needed to. So we are, just have to use them a couple of times a month for the last 3 months of the year. And then eyeshadow palettes, I started at needing to use them about 6 times a month, needing to use 6 separate eyeshadow palettes throughout the month. And eyeshadow uses included just like, if I dipped into it for 1 shade, that was 1 use. If I dipped into it for 5 shades, that was 1 use. So for 5 or 6 different days of the week, I needed to use that many. I don't know if I'm making sense. Anyway, but now I only need to use it 1 or 2 times, mostly 1 time in a month, because I only have this one. So if I use this once or twice every month until the end of the year, I will be good for my eyeshadow palettes, which is excellent news. And it's very helpful to know that as long as I use this once or twice every month, I'll be good. And then blush. Nope. And then lip products. As you might be able to tell, I brought in 2 new lip products right at the end of the year, and I haven't used them all that much. And so this is the only category where I have gone up in how much I need to use them. So at the beginning of the year, I mostly needed to use these 3 times and occasionally 4 times, different lip products every month. Now, however, I need to use them 6 or mostly 7 times. So I'm going to need to be using multiple lip products at a time, which now that I have a lip liner shouldn't be too bad. But I also can only use those 3 lip products that I have left in my collection for it to count, because obviously things that are rolled out don't count anymore for those numbers. So yeah, that last month we had a blush that was the problem child. Now my lip products are the problem child. Not because I have too many lip products, but because I brought them in too close to the end of the year. But I think I can do it. Wish me good luck, and I'll tell you next month how we do on those goals. I will see you next time. Have a good day, guys. Bye.